welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today we are switching things up a bit. Now I've wanted to, well, when I first started this channel, I've basically wanted to do car content and car related content. Now that's not gonna affect me, not playing games and whatever. I love doing that. But I want to orientate this channel more towards cars. And first I'm gonna start off with tips, ideas, opinions, and maybe even tutorials. And if you guys have any ideas or things you have questions on that I should do a video on, put it in the comments below. I have lots of ideas, and basically I'm just gonna get started on this. There's nothing more to say. Now this video's topic is top 5 car maintenance tips. Now these tips are important if you want to keep your car for a long time and without having to spend lots of money on maintenance and things you could have avoided by following these simple things. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, and this is in no order or whatever, so it's just random 5 things I was able to think up. So first thing I'm going to say, tires. Make sure they have a proper set of tires and to check on them regularly. A lot of people just don't bother to check them, and a lot of cars have tire pressure monitors, which is really handy, but there are cars, lots of cars, and the majority that don't have that. And even if you go around every 2 weeks just to look at them, look at the wear, look at if they wear evenly on the same axle. So for example, if the front 2 tires are wearing differently, there's a problem. Or if the rear 2 tires are wearing differently, there's a problem. You should always compare opposite tires, not on the same side. You should also consider tires, for example, if in your country, for example, on winter it goes below 7 degrees by a lot, you definitely shouldn't keep summer tires. You should at least get all 4 seasons, or maybe winter tires if the winter is a lot more extreme. Now, where I live in Ireland, it doesn't really get extreme, even though in the past couple of years, winters were kind of harsh, and there's no reason why people should be getting full-on winter sets here. If it doesn't go below -5-ish and it doesn't snow a lot, 4 seasons will do the job. But if it goes below that and it snows heavily, winter set will definitely do the trick. Now summer tires start to decrease in grip performance at around 7 degrees Celsius, and below that it just decreases more and more. And after that, if you don't have a harder compound, you're gonna start slipping. It doesn't matter if it's dry, wet, snowy. It's even worse if it does snow. But you should definitely, if it's kind of an all mixture of like 10-15 degrees down to like 0 degrees, you're better off with all seasons. And if it's really hard winters, you should definitely get a separate winter set tires and then have summer tires on from, I don't know, depending on how the seasons go in where you live. Now, number 2 is check fluids. That means oil, brake, transmission fluid, coolant, and windscreen washer fluid. The last one is not very important, as it cannot really do much damage to your car, and you will definitely notice it when you run out of windscreen washer fluid. Now, oil lubricates your engine, and it's extremely important because the car I bought for 500 quid, they didn't change the oil, and it's an aluminium block engine, and it has a slight case of piston slap. Now, that happens when you don't change the oil often enough, or if the car doesn't have enough oil to lubricate the engine itself. Piston slap becomes noticeable at cold starts, and basically it forms as the pistons go up and down and it's not lubricated enough. The holes in the block expand from the wear, and the pistons not only go up and down but from side to side, making a clicking sound. Now, my car, it's fine because it only happens in extreme colds, but when it warms up, there's basically nothing. So I'm lucky in a way, but definitely you should check your oil regularly, every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how much you drive. Now, as to what oil your car takes, you should definitely look in the user manual of your car. It's usually in there. Maybe the oil fill cap that usually has it, or from a trusted source where it will tell you, or even at times from an oil company's website. You can put your car in, registration plate, maybe VIN, or just car type, brand, engine, and then it will tell you what oil you will need to use in that car. Now the next thing is transmission fluid. Now if you have an automatic transmission, you should definitely change it every 80,000 kilometers, which is around 50,000 miles, just because your transmission depends on the liquid, especially if it's a CVT transmission. It depends on the liquid to produce the resistance, and therefore to make enough resistance to be able to move the car. Now, if you don't change it, residue will start to build up. And if you don't change it, and you change it, I don't know, at 200,000 kilometers, which is around 120,000 miles, you're better off at keeping the original oil until your transmission goes out, because if you wash out the leftover residue, then there won't be enough resistance because you have washed out of the leftover residue that built up in the transmission over the years. So it's always good to change it every 50,000 miles, which is around 80,000 kilometers. Now, brake and coolant, you should look at the levels, but you should just change, not even flushed, but just changed, and definitely by professionals, especially the brakes. Windscreen washer fluid, just look at it. You'll know when you run out. Now, number 3 on my list is lights. Now, this is really important, and technically you should look at your lights at least at the first trip of your day. You should turn on the ignition, turn on all the lights, and go around your car and see if there's anything wrong. Now, you're not going to worry about that if it's a brand new car out of the showroom for like a good 2-3 years. Nothing is going to go wrong. Most cars nowadays, even my car from 2007, has a sensor where it can sense if a light bulb is out. Now, on cheaper cars, that might not be the case. And you should definitely take the precaution of doing it at least once a week, especially if you drive a lot. And you should also have at least one light bulb set in your car that's good for your front headlights, rear taillights, indicators, reverse. And make sure to look at the different bulbs for your indicators, especially because it's going to be maybe different or the same front, back, and especially in the sides. If it's not an LED in the mirrors, which in that case you can't really do anything, and you cannot prevent that. Well, yeah, there isn't really any way to prevent that other than not use it and become a BMW driver. But that's besides the point. Now, number 4 on my list is not something anybody would particularly think would be important, but listen to strange noises. Now, that could include, I know, banging noises when you turn or go over a curb, or maybe go over a bump even, or maybe like a whiny noise, or just a straight up grinding noise. It can be whatever. 1 to 2 weeks, just take a good 5-10 minutes and try to listen to any strange noises, or even if it's not a strange noise, anything that feels out of the ordinary. Like, this is a harsh example and you would definitely notice this, but for example, when you brake and the car pulls to one side, you would definitely notice that even without listening, and that's definitely something you should definitely get checked out. But it's good to listen to strange noises, or to even just to see if anything feels out of the ordinary. And number 5, make sure to keep up with your proper maintenance dates, mileages, whatever. It's extremely vital for your car's proper long-lasting life. Now, that could include oil maintenance for example, my car, it's around 10,000 kilometers, which is around 6,000 miles. Even going a tiny bit before, like, I don't know, at 80%, when you reach that threshold, go in and get the oil change. It does no harm to your car, and you're not going to pay much more in the long term. But over the long term, actually saying it like that, you will definitely have a better quality car or a better lasting car, and you would definitely want that. Now, things might include every 5 years flush the coolant or the brakes, or like I said, the transmission fluid if it's an automatic, especially if it's a CVT. Get the fluid changed at least every 50,000 miles to 80,000 kilometers. It's just something that would definitely benefit a car that you would want to keep for a long time, and you would not want to spend money on like stupid things like you could have easily avoided if you kept up with maintaining your car properly. So I hope you all learned something today, and I hope you guys will try to at least do your best to do all of these 5 things. I know I do. I try my best. At times I might forget to do some things, but it's all good. We learn from our mistakes, and hopefully you will learn from other people's mistakes where they don't do any of these 5 things. So I hope you all learned something, and thank you all for watching. If you want me to do more of these tips, put some ideas in the comments, click the like button, and make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell, and lets you know when I upload a video. If you click the like button, it will help me know that you guys like this and I should keep doing these things. So thank you all for watching, and I'll be sure to catch you at the next one. Models popping bottles.